0864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck. Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play and put Oregon on your chest should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field. Back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you. We have Dan Lanning coming up, the Oregon football head coach. He met with the media last night after practice. Today is an off day for Oregon football, which means that the offices around here are a little quieter. You'll hear Dan Lanning talking about what they want to get out of this off day coming up in just a little while. We also have a number of student athletes. Jay Butterfield, we've yet to hear from the Oregon quarterback, Jay Butterfield. Heard from Bo Nix, heard from Ty Thompson. Going to hear from Jay Butterfield coming up today. Jackson Powers Johnson, a guy who could play on both sides of the ball, truthfully. We're going to hear from him coming up. Also, really cool interview with Caleb Chapman, a guy that I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but a guy who I think has really flashed in practice early on. Dan Lanning has said that he's made some big-time plays. Has the body of potentially a tight end. Like, if he gained some weight, he could play tight end. Fascinating career, though, for Caleb Chapman. Was injured a few times, has gone through the wars a little bit, and now he's here playing for the Ducks after transferring in from Texas A&M. I think could be an impact player for the Ducks this year. Then also Taki Taimani, Patrick Herbert, Casey Rogers, a transfer in from Nebraska, Jackson Leduc. Probably won't get to everybody that we've talked to after practice the last couple days today, but we will effort to do so. I am still here, but Jordan Brenner, he's warm in the bullpen. He's ready to come in. I don't know if anybody else on the Nationals is ready to come in, but we'll see. They're not. Yeah, he's a Nationals fan. And I was hoping that Alex Stimson would be here today because we actually set up a desk for Mr. Stimson in the studio. Alex has been a nomad his entire career. Many of you know him from emceeing various Go Ducks events, but see that desk over there? That's gonna be for Alex Stimson, and he's not here today. I thought he would be. Yeah, it's a really sad corner over there right now. But we'll hear from him more coming up. But Alex has a desk. He's stuck with us, whether he likes it or not. And from 1 to 2 every day, if you're live with us on Duck Insider, well, maybe you'll know why Alex isn't in the studio. Dan Lanning, I'm going to get out of the way and let Coach Lanning tell you what's going on. I see a couple questions. Joseph, when will QB1 be announced? Here's Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach. Every time we talk with him, it's brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Dan Lanning, maybe he'll answer that question. Who knows?
Hope everybody's doing good. Thought we had a really good day of practice today. Our guys strained. There was a lot of compete out there. One thing we talked to our team about is just controlled aggression, right? Football's meant to be played a certain way. Sometimes we get ramped up and we're attacking each other. We got to realize that doesn't help us win football games, right? We got to take it out in between the whistles and really control that. But our guys have done a good job. Finished really hard there at the end with a good conditioning period. Pleased with the progress. So we'll open up for questions.
Last day in shells, if we on the full pads next, just what do you think of these first 5 days?
Yeah, it's been good work. Our guys have done a good job. Still plenty of mistakes. Not where we need to be yet, but pleased with the progress.
You talked a lot about finishing practice after day one. How have you guys improved in that aspect between the first hour and throughout practice?
Yeah, I think our conditioning's kicked up. Our guys have done a good job today. I thought some of our hardest running took place in the last 10 minutes of practice, which is always a benefit because these guys really push themselves at the front end. We probably got to strain a little bit more at the beginning, but the guys had a really good finish today.
As you guys have gone from spiders to shells next to full pads, how have you seen the young guys kind of respond to some of the physicality in practice?
Yeah, I think the physicality, that's something if you're going to bite as a pup, you're going to bite as a dog, and we can try to force that a little bit, but the reality is, you're a physical player, you're going to be a physical player. I think what you notice as you get into day 5 and day 6, what you start to recognize who's actually got their head buried in their playbook, who's spending the extra time, because it's hard to play fast and if you don't know what you're doing. And that probably sticks out the young guys that are putting in the extra time that's required to be successful. Those are the guys that are reaping the benefits right now.
Who's done that?
There's a few guys. I just threw kudos to Kamari Terrell. He's done a really good job of meeting and taking extra time to watch film, doing the little things. That's a good example of one guy.
Who's a guy that sets an example for that, maybe a veteran player?
I think a lot of our guys take that opportunity. I know like Bennett Williams is a guy that's met with a lot of young guys. Brandon Doris is a guy that's met with young guys talking defensively. Ryan Walk on offense. These guys are looking for opportunities to pull people along with them because they've been through it.
Is Bennett still looking like he's going to maybe bounce around at a few positions this year, or is he settled in at one or two spots?
Yeah, we chart every single practice how many reps guys get, and our defense, we want guys to be playing multiple spots, right? Again, it goes back to you want your best 11 to be able to play football when needed, and that means somebody might have to shuffle from spot to spot.
Are there some guys, the young guys that you don't know about that moving into contact that you're still hoping to see some things out of, some proving to be done later?
Yeah, by no means are we ready for a game yet, and there's still some opportunities for us to see some guys grow up here. Like you said, we haven't really truly been in full pads yet. Shells get you pretty close, and you'll see, like I said, who's going to bite, but I think this time will tell.
Anything out of it? Wasn't here for spring football. Just how do you envision him fitting in this defense, and how has that gone for you guys right now?
Yeah, Casey's done a really good job. He's one of those guys that just operates like a pro. He understands what it's supposed to look like. He's really intelligent. He pushes the other players. I feel like that D-line has really ramped itself up with guys like Casey Jordan joining the fold and getting our guys that were injured back. It looks like a kind of completely different group than it did in the spring.
Do those two have a chemistry that they brought with them?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. There probably couldn't be more polar opposites, right? But the same note, they were coached by Coach Tuioti there at Nebraska, and them coming here, I think they brought some of that familiarity with Coach into that room. But there's a really good bond in there right now.
See any positive depth in the offensive line that's emerging?
Yeah, I think a lot. Fortunate enough for us, we've been able to get a lot of young guys reps early, and there's been some guys that have stuck out and had really good days. Josh Connerly's had a good day, had a really good rep in competition today. Competition drill where we do kind of a one-on-one drill. He did a really good job. Seen some good things from Dave, seen some good things from Kavika. A lot of those young guys have done well up front.
At Media Day, a lot of the guys had praise for Bo Nix over the summer, the way he was texting guys and constantly communicating with them. How has that translated in these first few days, his leadership and all that?
Yeah, I think it just shown up. I think Bo's earned the respect of a lot of the players on the team with the way that he operates, but I think you'll see that throughout our quarterback room. Ty, Jay, all those guys have really carried on. And I think Bo's sat in that seat before, so he knows what it looks like. He's done a good job of carrying that through the entire offense.
Someone like Sam Taimani, you get out of the transfer portal. How have you seen him kind of fit seamlessly into this defensive lineup now that he's got a few months under his belt with the team?
Yeah, I've always felt like your best teams are what I would call player-led teams. And I won't go into details about what it's about, but I walk into a team meeting the other day and Sam, Taki's in the front of the room, Brian Addison's in the front of the room, and they're talking to the team about the things that we got to do better. The coaches aren't in the room, so I think that speaks to the character of the players on our team when they're having those conversations without us in there. And he's done a really good job. And you know what? I think he wants to raise his standard of play. So I think the thing that we want to recognize, sometimes you're afraid to be a leader and you're afraid to say things because you're like, well, I still make mistakes. And the reality is, I make mistakes. The coaches make mistakes. The players make mistakes. What we got to do is own them, but still be willing to call people out and get better. And Taki's done a good job of that.
I haven't seen Salah the past couple of days. That's something good.
Yeah, minor ding. I think we'll get him back here shortly.
And Mikhail Afease as well.
Yeah, his maybe a little longer term. We'll see.
Does Taki, from an on-field standpoint, remind you of anybody you coached in the past up?
Not off the top of my not off the top of my head. Taki's a really good player. I think he does a lot of good things well, but I describe Taki as Taki.
You talk about the younger line getting some opportunities there between Salah being out and TJ a little limited. Just for Josh, for Kavika, for Dave, for some of these guys, even Marcus, frankly, man, a lot of game reps. What has this past week meant for those guys, whether it be the freshmen or just less heralded guys?
Yeah, well, I think it's something. I think if you asked any offensive line coach, if you asked Coach Clem or Coach Dillingham, you'd love to say, hey, let's stick 5 guys and keep them in a spot and get continuity. And there's truth to that. But the reality is you also want to make sure that you're working those guys at multiple spots. And I think that's really what this has created for us as an urgency as coaches to try some guys in different locations to improve our ability to be, adaptable. And, you're going to take some warts because of that, but those guys have done a really good job of getting better. And you know what? When you go against good competition, you get better.
How was your first day off of camp? I guess coming back from that, what do you hope to get accomplished the next couple of days after?
Organization with the coaches. You still get the opportunity to get in front of guys and have some meetings set up. So really, to me, it's go back and assess what we've done already, right? Evaluate that. Charge the batteries, make sure that we're fresh for our players as well. I think that's really important. People don't get enough sleep in fall camp. People stay up here till 1 a.m. That's not what we need as coaches or as players. So we'll hit the reset button, make sure we're doing a good job of pushing that forward, evaluate what we've done already, and then assess what do we need to keep pushing from an install standpoint.
That's what the coaches are doing today. They're looking back on their own work, and then, hey, here we go. Back to full pads tomorrow. That's right. So they've been in shells. You get a little bit of the simulation, but you heard Kenny Dillingham yesterday say that the Ducks haven't even played football yet. They've played a version of football, a lot of 7-on-7, but they haven't really played in full pads yet. They've been in shells. That gives you a good simulation, but it's full pads, full go tomorrow. And we'll have more details in the Quack Minute after practice tomorrow afternoon, and, of course, some interviews tomorrow after practice as well. When we come back, let's talk with one of the quarterbacks. Coach Lanning did not answer who QB1 is, though. I don't think he will for a while. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Our preseason special is coming up on August 24th. It's a week before our first Oregon Football Coaches Show as well. The preseason special, we'll do it here in the studio on the Oregon Football social media channels. You can watch, you can listen across the Oregon Sports Network. Basically, it's going to be the highlights of fall camp. That's the plan, is all of the best things that have happened in fall camp so far. We'll be talking about it. Maybe we'll be discussing QB1, QB2, QB3, QB4, QB5. I don't know. We'll see what happens come 14 days from today. That's right, 2 weeks, our preseason special. Jay Butterfield, one of the guys battling for that quarterback spot. He met with the media a little bit ago now, but I wanted to make sure that we heard from all three quarterbacks on the program. He took a lot of questions from reporters. Jay Butterfield, getting to know the young man and what he worked on heading into this season.
What's the situation there?
I like to think I'm pretty good, but yesterday I got beat, so got to get back to the drawing board with that.
Jay, what are your thoughts just going into fall camp and the quarterback battle that's kind of on the docket for all three of you guys?
Yeah, I think we've already got that kind of established in the spring. It's going to be a good competition. Bo, Ty, they're both great quarterbacks, great players. It's going to be fun. We always have fun in the quarterback room. Always a friendly competition, and I think it's going to be fun.
What do you have to do to separate yourself?
Always just got to do that 1% extra, whether that's on the field, getting some extra work after practice, or in the weight room, or just in the film room, watching some extra film or practice cut-ups, whatever that is. Just got to do the 1% extra.
When you exited spring camp, what were the things that you felt like you needed to work on this offseason?
Definitely just getting more confident and comfortable in the offense, especially in the run game stuff. I always feel confident with my throwing ability, but whether I need to get into the best run check for our running back, or if I need to get loose and run a little bit, whatever that is.
Bo's an experienced guy. What have you taken kind of from him, watching and learning?
Yeah, he's a great leader. He came from the SEC, 3-year starter. He really knows how to get his voice out there and get people to listen to him, so that's kind of what I've learned from him.
How do you balance the competition with him, but also learn from him as well?
I don't know. It's like I said, it's just friendly competition. It's no one butts heads. You learn from them, and then you compete with them, and at the end of the day, you're your brother. So.
Similar question, man, but what has stood out to you about the QB room and just the dynamic with all of you guys in there getting along? What has stood out to you? What makes it a special QB room?
Yeah, kind of, I don't know, like I said, it's just super, we're together. We're doing everything together, trying to push each other every day. Everyone makes everyone better. You can always learn something from someone, and I think that's what we've all done.
In terms of building chemistry with the wide receivers, is there anything you're doing outside of practice that is getting you more on the same page?
I think over the summer, the player-led stuff really got us going. It's always good to have coaches out there telling you what to do, but when you're a player-led team, that's what we preach. Being a player-led team, once you're that, you think you're an elite team. So we've been doing a lot of player-led stuff and getting out there with the receivers and getting dialed in.
Do you feel like you have a little bit of an advantage in the quarterback battle with the sustained relationship already with some of the receivers that are already here?
No, not necessarily. I think the receivers have respect for each of the quarterbacks equally. I don't think they look at someone higher or lower than anyone else, so I wouldn't say it.
A lot of the guys have talked about the better connection as a team from a chemistry standpoint this offseason. How did that happen, and just from your perspective, what's your evaluation of that?
Yeah, I think the coaches have done a great job preaching, because we have these 4 pillars: connection, growth, toughness, and sacrifice. And I think we've really all done those 4 pillars really well, and they've preached them, and I think we've all connected really well.
How do you feel Dillingham's system is different than last year's system?
A lot of ways it's pretty similar. Just different calls. Drop back, we'll do some RPOs. Nothing too different.
Do you feel like you're stretching the ball downfield more this year than you would last year?
Yeah, I think we are a really explosive offense, and I think you guys have only seen just a fraction of that in the spring, and there will be more to come this fall.
You said it, the 3-year SEC starter and Bo coming in, adding him to the quarterback room in the spring. What was that dynamic like early on, and then what have you kind of learned about him, and in what ways have you guys connected in this time?
Yeah, I honestly had no idea what to expect when Bo came in, but I'm never gonna judge a book by its cover, and he's just a super genuine, upfront guy. He's been he's actually been like texting every single day for the past couple weeks. He's been texting, I would assume not just me, like other guys on the offense. He's been texting us like these quotes from the Bible, and he's just like super religious guy, and he's super like nothing more to him. He's just a super nice guy and good football player.
How do you feel like you factor into the leadership aspect of this team?
I feel like I'm kind of more of a reserved leader at times. Like I could be more out there, but when I want to be, I could be more vocal. But I kind of sit back sometimes and like watch other people lead, maybe learn from them on how to be a better leader, and then I try to do that moving forward.
What do you feel like you've specifically learned from whether it be one of the other quarterbacks or anyone else on the team?
Just, you know, you don't want to be that guy who's like doing one thing or saying one thing and doing another. Like, you want to be the guy who's, if you're going to say, let's do this, you want to be the guy doing that. Because if you see, or if people see you like not doing what you're preaching, then they're not going to want to listen to you. So, yeah, just kind of be what you are about.
I'm sorry if it's so brief, but just how are you mentally approaching this year's competition compared to a year ago?
I feel like I'm just a year older, a year more experienced, and just got to take that approach going into this fall camp, that knowing that I have a chance, and just go into it confident and ready to roll.
When we're in the world of college football that we are now, everybody at every position, but especially quarterback, moves on to look for a guarantee. It's not a matter of not being willing to compete or something. It's just saying that they're looking for a guarantee. Who wouldn't? I want to look for a guaranteed job.
Yeah.
So when I ask why stay and compete for it, it's not being afraid of competition. I'm saying why not? Why is staying important to you versus trying to seek something that was more guaranteed?
I honestly wouldn't say there's any guarantees in college football in any aspect of any sport, honestly. Anywhere you go, there's going to be great competition, so I just felt like staying was the best choice for me, and there's going to be competition anywhere, so might as well get it done here.
What did you do this summer by way of either working with guys, or I don't know if you had a private quarterback coach you work with, or something like that?
Yeah, kind of just like similar approach. Watch some film. Like I said earlier, like the player-led stuff. Get some extra work with the receivers, tight ends, running backs, all that stuff. Similar approach to the last couple of years, just a little more advanced.
Those guys you worked with, is there anything you're just excited to? He's worked hard. I'm excited to see how it pays off.
Yeah, there's too many. Honestly, all the guys have just been working their butts off. I'm excited for all of them, honestly.
How do you feel like practicing against this defense? Is there anything that stands out, or is there any wrinkles to Lanning's system that is more difficult for you as a quarterback to decipher? What have you seen from the defensive side?
Yeah, they're super talented. A lot of guys coming back from last year, and then Lanning. He has some stuff up his sleeves. I'm obviously not going to disclose that information, but he's a super talented coach. Obviously, last year won the Natty at Georgia. And I'm super excited to see what our defense has too.
Going off of that, what's it like having either Noah or like a Justin in your peripheral vision at practice?
Yeah, it's not fun because they're always just flying around the field. It's hard to like get. The windows are tight, so especially with like our talented DBs, linebackers just running around out there. It's a little tough, but I'm glad they're on our team.
In terms of Chase transferring in, how's he been fitting in with both the entire offense and what you've seen from the wide receiver room?
Yeah, he's fit in like he's not even new. Like he's like it feels like he's been here for forever. He's just fit in really well with the receivers and with the whole team. He gels with everyone, and he's not only a great player, he's just a great person to be around.
Do you feel like with this year's team, with a new coaching staff and a lot of transfer ins and outs, do you feel like the aspect of you being here for an extra year and you being a returner is there's a lot of different groupings in this team with the new coaching staff and the new transfers and your returning players as well? Do you feel like it gels from more groupings rather than there being a transfer in and them feeling a little bit more isolated because they're coming into an already solidified group?
I don't know. I don't really So what was the question again? Sorry.
So do you feel like it's easier for a transfer to integrate themselves because there are a new coaching staff and a lot of new transfers and a lot of rotating?
Yeah, I mean it could be. I don't know. That would more be a question to ask them, I guess. But I do think our coaches do a really good job of making everyone feel at home and like they're welcome. And we have a lot of new transfers this year and a lot of guys coming in and out. So I don't think that I hope no one feels like they're left out or left behind or don't feel like they have a voice, because I know they do, even if they're new. But I would say our coaches do a great job, and our team does a great job making them feel welcome.
Going back to...
How does Caleb Chapman help this receiver room? What's he bring to the table for you guys?
He's a big body. Make the 50-50 catches not be 50-50, more like 75-25. Just a big body out there, great hands, great route running ability. I just think he's a great asset for our team.
Going back to Chase, how huge is it that he was coming in to you guys, and also he's been a part of this conference and been very successful already? How much of an advantage is that to have that experience on his end? Yeah,
he knows the same opponents we've been playing. He's already been playing for 4 or 5 years, however long he's been in college for. But I'm glad he's on my team. He's also like Chap. He can go up and make the 50-50 balls, 75-25 balls, like you've seen in the spring. He was making plays left and right, and he's just been great to have on the team.
Good stuff from Jay Butterfield. That was from Media Day. We hadn't gotten a chance to hear from him yet. You heard a little bit at the beginning there about his cornhole and how he's pretty good, but might have gotten beat. It happens. It happens. But the team... Look, I think all 3 of these guys bring a lot to the table, and I've seen that in practice, not just this year, but previous years for 2 of them, right? In Ty and in Jay. I'm looking forward to the rest of that quarterback battle throughout fall camp. When we return, Jackson Powers Johnson, Patrick Herbert, hear from those guys a little bit on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Now's the time to visit your local Toyota dealer and find yourself in a stylish and fuel-saving RAV4, Corolla, or Camry. Or climb behind the wheel of the rugged Tundra, Tacoma, and more. Toyota's national sales event is on. Toyota, let's go places.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Now's the time to visit your local Toyota dealer and find yourself in a stylish and fuel-saving RAV4, Corolla, or Camry. Or climb behind the wheel of the rugged Tundra, Tacoma, and more. Toyota's national sales event is on. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the Drug Facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the Drug Facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/Drug Facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Jackson Powers Johnson, this guy is the ultimate team player. Has played on both sides of the ball, playing a little offensive line, playing a little defensive line. Honestly, I thought he did great in the bowl game. I know the result wasn't what Oregon fans or the team wanted, but I thought he did a great job in a tight situation, right? That's a tough spot to be in. I said that backwards. See, we were just talking during the break about how the brain doesn't work as good as it used to. It's a tough situation and a tight spot to be in. Did any of you three even notice that I did that? Right over there. Anybody else in the comments? I can't even blame it on the baby yet. We're not even there yet. Jackson Powers Johnson, he talked with the media.
Adrian Clem has a lot of NFL pedigree. How has that really shown itself so far working with you guys?
Just the technique, attention to detail, how he coaches. It's very NFL-like, and it's very high tempo and great, and it's preparing all of us for the next level.
What makes you so versatile as a player, someone you can play offensive line, defensive line, kind of switch spots around?
Just the willingness to do it. I love football, and I'll play wherever is needed, and just do whatever's best for the team. So if you need me on one side, I'll play. If you need me on the other, I'll play. But, yeah.
Are there things playing the defensive side of the ball that have made you better on the offensive side of the ball or vice versa that you've seen?
Of course, like reading defenses got a lot easier, playing defense, understanding what the D-lineman trying to do, certain moves that I had to learn on D-line. Now I got to defend it. Now it's easy to kind of see the, weaknesses of both and try and get better at that. So, yeah.
Do you feel like having worked with the offensive line already in this group has made it an easier transition to be able to switch over to defense and go back and forth?
Oh yeah, of course. All the guys in that room are really helpful to me. That's all they do is just bring me up, talk to me, help me with technique and everything like that. So yeah, of course, they're my best friends and my brothers.
How big of the growth of the command of the offense from the quarterbacks, just from spring ball when everything was fresh for everybody, but now it's 6 months later, 5 months later, just your thoughts on the command of the offense the quarterbacks have shown?
All quarterbacks have done great. They've all commanded it. We all love them. We all have a connection with them. And they've been commanding it great, and it stems from having a great offense coordinator and great quarterbacks coach and, great coaches all together. So they've been awesome. They've been doing great. So.
How big of an advantage is it to have veterans on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball when you're trying to learn both position groups as the year goes on?
It's awesome. Guys have experience really teaching me the ropes, on both sides of the ball. Knowledge is power. So they've been doing great, and they've been teaching me, help me out wherever I need to go.
I've seen some videos of Kenny at Memphis mic'd up, just kind of singing, dancing during practice, bringing a lot of energy. Has he brought that to Oregon, and can you describe some of the ways he brings that energy to practice?
Oh, yeah, he brings that energy. Kenny's awesome. We call him Dilly, so he's awesome. He's a great dude. He definitely brings that energy. We have fun in the meetings. Whenever we see him, he creates certain nicknames for each of the players and stuff. It's awesome. Kenny's a great leader and a great guy.
Does he have a nickname for you?
I'm just JPJ, so unfortunately.
Built in there.
Yeah.
I saw the Let's to Ride video on Twitter. What was the thought process of making that video?
It was just actually one of the athletic trainers, Rachel, she told me, hey, it'd be funny if you did it. So we were doing this pump up thing, and I was like, I'll do it, because it's just a big trend on TikTok. So I did it, and I posted it, and I ended up taking the storm, and so, yeah.
First day of pads coming up soon, just as an offensive lineman. What do you think the assignment's going to be like? Is that real football starting then?
The pads really came on when we just started going. It's physical every day. It doesn't matter what pads, we're not really getting tackled. So, yeah, and it's a certain mentality. It's coming up, but just super excited and excited to get after it and get better.
Since this is kind of a younger staff, how do you feel like they are kind of relating to you guys as players?
As you said, they're younger. They're great. They connect with us. They get us, and they're really great about connecting with us, and they're younger, so I don't know. They know all the little trends that's going on. They have a good style, and they have a great sense of humor. Makes us want to come in the building, and laugh it up and get closer.
Really rooting for that guy, Jackson Powers Johnson. I think that he's a cool story, and I'm excited to see how the Ducks utilize him this year. Elsewhere, Patrick Herbert, you talk about a cool story coming back from injury. He talked about that a little bit with the media this week. I'm really looking forward to seeing the way the Ducks use all of the tight ends, but particularly Patrick Herbert. And I do want to tell one story. Steve Pohl. Okay. Steve Pohl, those of you who are always listening to this show, you know about Steve Pohl. All the videos that you see on the Oregon football social media and that you see on Duck Vision and on the scoreboard, Steve's been making those for what? 20-something years? Steve is top of the class in terms of team videographers, cinematographers. That's better. Scott Phillips will like that because he's worked with him for 2 decades. Steve was filming on the sideline at practice, and Patrick made a catch coming right at the camera. Every camera guy's nightmare. Okay, everybody? That's every camera guy's nightmare. Oh, God. Because, one, you got to get out of the way because your own personal safety. You don't want to get taken out. 2, you don't want the player to get hurt, right? You don't want the player to come crashing into you. And then 3, those cameras cost like, really? They cost a lot of money, all right? They cost a lot of money. So Steve, being the pro that he is, he's on his knees with the camera. He gets ready to tuck and roll because that's what you do, right? Camera, protect it, tuck, roll out of the way. Okay? So then all that happens is the player could trip over you. Well, Patrick Herbert makes the catch. He's on the sideline. Patrick proceeds to jump over Steve and the camera. And he gets up, he pops back up, and he goes, "You're welcome." Pretty great. But how about the presence of mind to do that? Anyway, I hope that Patrick doesn't mind me telling that story. I hope Steve doesn't mind me telling that story from practice this week because it was pretty great. It was just one of those cool moments at practice where you're like, that worked out well. And he got the shot. That's right. He got the shot, I'm sure, of Patrick making the catch and then coming right at him, which is the money shot, as they say. Patrick Herbert meeting with the media this week.
Old man, but I think you know the drill. How are you feeling, and what is it just like even mentally, where at this time last year, you know, obviously we're dealing with another injury?
I feel good. Body feels good. Mentally, I'm there. It's been nice having Cam McCormick there with me. He's been through it a few times, so he's kind of led me through the whole process of it.
What's it been like mentally to handle, Pat? Because between 2020 being so messed up, and obviously you're not planning to get hurt, but you know, you're 3 years in, you've graduated college, and you just had so seldom opportunity because of just being snake bit. So just what's that been like to handle?
It's a tough situation for sure. You know, you don't wish it on anybody, but there's a plan for everything, so I'm just going to keep working.
What have you focused on improving this offseason in particular?
Well, since I haven't been able to do a whole lot, I mean, like during last season and a little bit of the offseason, I've focused a lot on reading defenses, kind of understanding the playbook better, not just from tight end position, but from every receiver position, the calls centers are making, stuff like that.
How do you go about like planning for that? Is it just like you open up a random page in a book on a Tuesday and dive in, or like?
No, that's shout out to the coaches. They've I kind of talked to our coaches about it, and they kind of laid out a whole. I think it's like 200 and something pages, and they've kind of walked us through it. It's not like that, but Maringer's done a great job, kind of explaining, going deeper into defenses and offensive schemes.
I know the H and the A are kind of interchangeable, but they do have different roles. So do you prefer one versus the other? I know one does more of that kind of motion blocking as opposed to inline stuff. So
I'll play wherever they want to put me.
Where can you help this tight end group? Because it does feel like there's a need between you, Cam, Terrell, obviously with Terrence and Noak back.
I think it can help. Even though I haven't played it a whole lot, I've been around. You know, I think only 2 of us or 3 of us were around for the 2019 Rose Bowl, and I think leadership in the locker room, like that type of stuff, I think that's really important. And we were there, so we got to see what it was like and how walkthroughs went, how meetings were. So I think that's important.
Where have you maybe grown mentally going through this process the last couple of years?
I think I've just matured. Just kind of realized that there is a plan for everything, and just excited for every day I wake up now.
At what point did you kind of become full go or as close to 100% as you are now?
Probably like right after spring ball. Like spring ball was kind of iffy, but we just wanted to play it safe. So.
Is it frustrating in that sense to have just missed out on kind of that window?
Yeah, but there's a plan for everything, so I'm not too stressed.
Where maybe physically, you feel, it sounds like you feel good from the injury, but where have you grown? Maybe a lot of the tight ends talk about speed improving. You feel like you've grown there?
Yeah, I hit my top speed I've ever hit just a few weeks ago, so I was pretty excited about that, even after all the issues. So.
What was it? That's a miles per hour?
Yeah.
What was that?
It was like 20 something, or it was 20.5, 20.6, something like that.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Where is that? Sort of among the other tight ends, were you fastest, second fastest?
I don't know. Probably in the middle somewhere.
after you ran that, like, were you just like that felt fast? Like, did you feel as fast as you ever felt when you ran that, or were you surprised by the time?
Probably not. We just had the opportunity to open up. So.
Is there anything this strength staff, this training staff has done with you in particular that you think's been really helpful since they got here?
Yeah, I think they've really focused in on lifts dedicated to your position. So I think that's been really cool. So you got quarterbacks not doing the same lifts that offensive linemen are, or tight ends doing different lifts than running backs, so it's kind of all separate.
When's the last time all three of you brothers were home at the same time?
Probably just a few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys get competitive with each other when you guys are around?
Not just recently, but like during COVID when everybody was home, we were very competitive.
How are things going for Mitchell out on the East Coast?
He's doing really well. He's doing his rotations in med school right now, so he's excited about that.
Does it get like competitive around like holiday dinner when you guys are talking about like what you've been up to? Like.
Yeah, a little bit, but we're probably more supportive of anything, so yeah.
Patrick Herbert, it's cool to hear a little bit about all that from him. I think that Patrick Herbert, man, everyone's going to root for him, right, just because of the story with his brother, the family. We all know that, but just him separate from all of that, a guy who's recovering from an injury, gets a chance to play. I hope that he gets some significant time. I hope he earns some significant time this year. When we come back, we told you a little bit about another guy going through some injuries in Caleb Chapman. Going to hear from him, one of the transfers on this roster. Getting to know him for the first time with the media next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Caleb Chapman, a transfer in from Texas A&M, has been through some injuries a little bit. He talked about why he chose Oregon, and he's made some impact plays in practice so far through at least the first few days of practice. 5 practices in the books. Today's an off day. 6th practice tomorrow will be the first time in full pads for the Ducks. And Caleb Chapman, hey, Coach Lanning said it. He's made some big plays. Got to know him a little bit here as he talked with the media.
How's fall camp been going so far, and how's it like transitioning to Oregon? I'm going pretty good. You know what I'm saying? We're getting back in the works of things. So just kind of getting my body conditioned and learning the plays and kind of doing the bond with the team, really. What made you come to Oregon? What was it? How did that decision come about? I'll say the defining factor for me were the coaches. You know what I'm saying? Because when I went to the portal, I was looking for just coaches to help develop me and give me the best chance to play ball again. Because you know what I'm saying? I've had my injuries, so I'm just here to kind of do what I can to help the team.
Over the weekend, Coach said you had some pretty explosive plays out there. How did that feel, knowing kind of your road and what you kind of been through?
I feel like it felt good to kind of get back in the mix and know that I can still go and make them plays. And because on the phone with Dillingham in the portal, he kind of tell me what they're looking for, and so it's kind of good to come out here and be able to give them that tool in the offense.
You hear about some players that are fan favorites. You haven't had a chance to establish yourself as a fan favorite, but you seem to be making fans of your teammates. You seem to have made a quick impression with making some of those plays. And you talk about trying to build a bond here. What's that like to make a bunch of plays and kind of prove yourself quickly to a lot of the other guys?
I mean, as an older guy, I mean, they expect kind of you to set an example and kind of be out there and go out there and make plays in fall camp. So I feel like it helps with the team bonding, but I mean, just going out there and practicing and bonding with the team is going to make us better. Kind of like, because our team chemistry is what's supposed to make us, you know what I'm saying, a lot better. When we kind of have each other's back and everything like that, we'll be able to be a lot better team.
What's it been like kind of walking that line between being a new guy but also being a veteran on the team and trying to help a young wide receiver room too?
I guess as a veteran, you could say, I kind of just know what's expected from what the coaches are expecting, I would say. So kind of just like leading by example and kind of just carrying everybody along, like the young guys too, kind of just showing them the ropes and making sure that as a team we're all on the same page.
Have you noticed much of a difference between where you came from and where you are now as far as team atmosphere, just some things about being here that's different?
Little things are different. Obviously, I'm from Texas, so I mean the weather for sure is a lot, I would say, nicer out here. It's not as brutally hot, but I mean just the atmosphere is great out here. I mean there's no complaints. I mean Oregon has everything you need, so there was kind of a hard decision to kind of say no when the option came up.
You mentioned about this opportunity. I'm sure you had plenty of options in the portal. When you're on the field, you're a pretty hard guy to stop at the X position. So what was it about this opportunity?
Kind of like what I said with him, is this opportunity here is kind of like, it's real hard to beat. You know what I'm saying? With the schedule being Pac-12, being at Oregon, Nike, and these coaches kind of like were the big factor for me with Coach Lanning coming from Georgia. I already kind of know, you know what I'm saying, what Georgia's about. I mean, we all do. So kind of just the coaches for me was like the final factor, because knowing what they're trying to come in and do, because the coaches being the first year, they're real hungry. You know what I'm saying? We're all hungry to win games and do what we can to win. So, I mean, it was a kind of a hard opportunity to pass up.
You mentioned your injuries earlier. How are you physically feeling now?
I feel the best I felt in the past 5 years doing my injuries. So, I mean, thank God I'm able to still play. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just excited and grateful to be playing still.
You talked about your sorry James. You talked about your call with Kenny Dillingham while you're in the portal, and he mentioned stuff that you looked for. What were those things, and what did he mention to you?
Come here, lead, and make plays, and do my job to help the team win. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to do anything in particular, but help the team win.
What all were the injuries, Coach? I know the ACL in 20, but you had injuries in 19 and 21. I know there was another knee in there, so what all were the injuries you got?
So the past 4 years, I guess my injuries. 2018, I tore my left ACL. 2019, I was healthy. 2020, I tore my right ACL. And last year, my left strength joint.
A lot of Oregon fans don't really know much about you. What would you kind of tell them? Like, what kind of player are they getting in you? What kind of person are they getting in you?
I would say, I'm just here to work and do my job. I mean, it's not just here to play games. I'm here to work and do my job. I mean, it's a business, and we kind of learn that going through the process. So, I mean, it's not really anything but coming here to do my job and making sure I can do my best, my ability to make the team win.
What's your impression been of Coach Adams so far?
Coach Adams is a great coach. He's real detailed in what he's trying to make us do and what he wants us to learn. He's a real player-oriented guy. So, I mean, he's all for the players. I mean, he takes care of all of us, and he makes sure that we're knowing our stuff and makes sure that he's developing us for the down road. It's not even just about being on the field. It's about being a man at the end of the day.
How quickly were you able to kind of adjust to that new position coach and kind of getting your feet wet and that?
I mean, I'm still adjusting to everything. I've been here for maybe 2 months now, but I mean, it's been a good adjustment, I'll say. I'm just trying to transition from being in Texas over at Texas A&M over here at Oregon. I mean, it's a little different. What's the word? A little different vibes over here and how things are ran. But I mean, everything over here is awesome. You know, I have no complaints with the coaches.
What was the talent here compared to, not to just the other place, but what do you think about the talent here in Oregon?
wide receiver. I mean, there's talent everywhere. There's talent here at Oregon. I mean, I think our room is very talented. We got people that can do everything, and we're real deep in depth. So everybody in the receiver room can play.
What was kind of the biggest cultural difference for you coming from Texas to here? And is there anything that you're still going to use tonight?
I don't really want to talk about, you know what I'm saying, Texas A&M too much. I'm here at Oregon now. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, talk about all that. To be honest with you, I just know that this is a great place, and I'm excited to be here. And everything here is fantastic.
How similar or different is what's being asked of you in this offense compared to the past? Because I realize Coach Greg has coached a very similar, not style of offense, but Jimbo runs something different than what Kenny's going to run. So, but X is usually the vertical threat no matter what offense you're in. So, what is different, or how similar are they?
My job kind of been the same my whole career, kind of just make plays and doing what I can to help the team win. Like, that's always been my job, and that's like, I don't look at it. My job is to do certain things, but do my job, and that's the only way I can put it.
He's made a lot of big plays in practice, I'll tell you, and I think that he's been a good addition to the group, and you just hear him talking there. He just wants to do his job. That's what you like to hear, right? That's what coaches want to hear. I think it's what fans want to hear, too. When we come back, we're going to finish the show. A little bit of defense. Jackson Leduc, he talked with the media yesterday. That's next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Coming up tomorrow after today's off day, the Ducks are in full pads. And yesterday we heard from some of the defensive guys, and we'll have the rest of the interviews for you on the show tomorrow with Taki Taimani and Casey Rogers, another one of the transfers. And then Jackson Leduc, I think there's a lot of talent in the linebacker room. Sure, Noah Sewell, Justin Flo, they're going to grab a lot of headlines. But I think a guy like Jackson Leduc could be a big contributor to this team, and he talked with reporters yesterday.
Said you guys had a good day of practice, and it really came on strong at the end.
Yeah, it was a good day. Had some guys flying around, so just stacking days, trying to get the defense installed.
You guys look forward to obviously the day off now, but the day after, pads come on. What kind of is the excitement level about that? Is that real football?
I mean, yeah, that's full go, full tilt, time to smack some heads around. So, we had shoulder pads on the last couple of days. Time to put on some full pads and take some people to the ground.
What were your biggest strides this offseason?
I think becoming vocal with defense, trying to take a step and set the fronts and make sure everyone's in the right spot, moving the furniture, and yeah, basically just trying to become the captain of defense and get people ready.
How much of a challenge is put on your guys? By the way, are you playing the MAC, the money, both?
The money. A little bit of both, yeah.
Which one is making the calls? Do both make the calls?
Both make the calls, definitely. A little bit more for the money, but we try to, we got a big thing that's POU, so it kind of just means everyone staying together. So we got that in the inside linebacker room, so everyone tries to make the calls, set the fronts together. But we definitely got some strain on the inside back room, trying to make sure everyone around us is doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Such a different year from last year. Obviously, last year you came in with a lot of the same guys, but you got hurt. A lot of guys got hurt. What's it like having so much depth now and the talent?
I mean, it's tremendous. It's awesome to have flow and have everyone back there healthy. It makes it fun to have a good competition. And it just makes it, fun to be with all the guys that have earned, their spot out there.
How much is the competition? And you said those players are obviously really talented. How much has that maybe made you up your game?
I think, as much as it can. I think we all, we kind of have a motto like surround yourself with winners. And I think our room is full of a bunch of winners. So, I mean, we're just making each other better every day. And then obviously the guys that we're playing against are just equally as good as we are. So it ups our game that much more.
How much of the Georgia defense did you watch in preparation for this, maybe independently, or does it?
Right now we're just focused on fall camp, so haven't really looked into Georgia. We're I thing.
I meant for learning this defense that Dan implemented before.
Yeah. So we've done some Georgia stuff and some of the other stuff that the other coaches brought in. So got a good mix of all of it.
Let me ask you this: what if anything have you learned about Coach Lanning since you got into camp mode? Has there been some revelations for you since you got to this point?
I didn't know if the energy was going to stay, but the dude is, he's crazy. He's always got energy. He packs it every day. He's coming out there and he's running around. He makes sure everyone is top of their game.
A lot of energy, that's for sure, at practice. He's still on the microphone. Someone asked me that yesterday. Hey, does he still use the microphone at practice like he did in the spring? Yeah, he does. Coach Lanning still uses it. That was Jackson Leduc, one of the linebackers for this team. I thought a lot of good stuff from him. Your Cafe 2-minute drill is a quick one today. Head to GoDucks.com for a little more info on this because the award winners who will be honored in addition to the Hall of Fame class coming up in about a month have been announced. And shout out to football player Dietrich Moore, named the recipient of the Leo Harris Award this year. Softball's Katie Mackey Harris, selected for the Becky L. Sisley Award. And David Salmon, Order of the O honorary member this year. More details, GoDucks.com, and we'll tell you about it a little bit more tomorrow. See you then.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that